Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, Little Fingers. I hope you all have a good week so far. Last week I've shared with you the outcome of my second build gaming PC. In this project, I aim to spend less for an affordable unit in the end. Despite the rising prices of all the computer parts, I've managed to get a bang for every buck I've spent. So this week, I'm going to share with you the process of building this DIY project. Without further ado, let's get into action. The first thing I did was decide what computer components to use in this build. It took weeks to wait for all the components to arrive. And the time finally came. I've got AMD Ryzen 3 3200 as the processor or CPU. Inside the box, it comes with a CPU fan and thermal paste. I've chosen this for its price point, and I bought the compatible motherboard, which is the Gigabyte P450 Auros. Before installing the processor to the motherboard, I removed the pre-installed brackets, which is dedicated only for the put-on CPU fans, since I've used the CPU fan that comes with the processor. With the CPU socket, I pulled up the lever in the side to insert the CPU into its socket and push the lever down to lock it. Just remember, there's no force needed to insert the CPU into its socket. Also, there's an arrow to guide you in positioning the CPU. And after that, I positioned the CPU fan where I thought the easiest position to connect the wire to the motherboard. If I'm not mistaken, it is in two possible positions. I installed the CPU fan by locking the screws gradually. Once the CPU and its fan is installed to the motherboard, I grabbed two pieces of 8GB kit of DDR4 RAM from Oloy, which is called Warhawk Auros RGB 3200MHz, and install it to its memory slots, the second and the last one. Afterwards, I grabbed a computer casing, which is Corsair Carbide series SPEC-Delta RGB mid-tower ATX gaming case with tempered glass, and identify the wires needed for the motherboard and lay out its designated location. I connected all the wirings based in the motherboard manual. It is sometimes a tedious process, especially if you can't find some wires in stand-ups. And I've come to realize it is in the little tiny box, which I thought is empty and for display purposes only. I was just glad I found it. Just a piece of advice: you have to be careful in all of your connections, or else you'll toast your brand new system, which is the worst case scenario that may happen to you. After the tedious process of connecting all the wires, I've installed the storage unit of 512GB SSD from Silicon Power. This is one of the easiest things to install. Connection for this one is too easy to find and connect. Right after that, I've connected the power supply unit of Beta 650 watts from Montech with 80 plus certified bronze grade. It's pretty good for an affordable gaming build. Of course, when I install the power supply unit, I've got to arrange its wires, so it took some time to finish it and make it look presentable inside. After double checking all the connections and components, the moment of truth has come by pressing that power button. And there was the display asking for an operating system. It was a relief, for it means that I've successfully connected and installed all the components correctly. So I went ahead and installed the Windows 10 Pro 64 bits as the operating system for this build. After I successfully installed the operating system, I installed the USB Wi-Fi adapter from Ravenest to update the Windows. This dual antenna Wi-Fi adapter is plug and play, so there's not much to do to use this component. After all the hard work, I'd say this build is a success. I've sold it with the 27-inch Samsung Curved computer monitor with keyboard and mouse from Logitech. So there you go, folks. I hope this inspires you to work on your DIY project. Once again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.